Warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty looked at the stunning solemn face and cupped their hands, saying, "We apologize for the offense. It's time to bid farewell." Warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty looked at the stunning solemn face and cupped their hands, saying, "We apologize for the offense. It's time to bid farewell." Even though they were not happy about it, they couldn't say anything. Their status was not comparable to that of Brahma's pure sky, so they didn't dare to turn hostile against Brahma's pure sky. After all, it was about the political geography of the Heavenly Mandate realm, and no one could afford the consequences. After speaking, the warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty restrained their life forces. Not only them, but warriors of other powers also restrained their life forces. No one dared to keep fighting. "We are sorry to disturb your majesty," warriors from Violet Heavenly Palace and other forces said. They all cupped their hands to bid farewell, and then they all flashed and left quickly. There was no need for them to stay any longer. Many warriors of Shangxiao Divine Palace stared at the Empress's face, their hearts troubled, but they didn't say anything and left with the warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Even though they came from the Shangxiao Divine Palace, the Empress of Brahma's pure sky was a big figure at the top of the Supreme Path realm. They belonged to the younger generation and dared not act presumptuously. They didn't have the capital to try, and even their elders were the same. In a blink of an eye, most people of top forces had left, but some warriors were still here, such as Yi Futian and others of the celestial gate of vast heaven. Yi Futian gazed at the face in the void sky and didn't look away. He even wanted to ask something. The Empress seemed to be aware of it, and her majestic eyes glanced at him. Soon, she gradually dissipated and vanished. The might over the sky also dissipated, and soon the void sky restored its calmness from before. However, the war that just happened and the Empress's solemn appearance were still imprinted in the minds of countless people in the lower sky above the Brahma Sky City. Today's battle would surely spread throughout the Heavenly Mandate realm. Even Her Majesty had been shocked. Many people looked excited since this was the first time that they had seen Her Majesty's face. Even though they lived in Brahma Sky City, it was still very difficult to see Her Majesty, and Her Majesty rarely showed up in public. Usually, she either cultivated in the Brahma's pure sky, or traveled in the 3,000 realms of the Great Path. After the Empress of Brahma's pure sky had left, Yi Futian didn't retract his gaze. He still stared into the void sky, and his deep eyes looked like he was lost in thought. After a long while, he took back his gaze and said to the Runhuang figures and demon emperors in front of him, with his hands cupped, "Thank you all very much, Your Majesties." During the battle that just happened, these Renhuang-level figures took the lead to protect him. Otherwise, no matter how strong he was, he would be unable to cope with those Runhuang figures of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. "From now on you must be careful. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty intends to kill you," a Runhuang figure of the celestial gate of vast heaven reminded Yi Futian. Just now, everyone could clearly tell that people of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty were trying to kill him. A tree outgrowing other trees in a forest was more likely to be destroyed. Yi Futian's relationship with Gu Donglu and his stance had already put him on the opposite side of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. In such a situation, killing him before he grew stronger was naturally the best and easiest choice for the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. When Yi Futian reached the Runhuang realm, if they wanted to kill Yi Futian at that time, they would need to use more manpower, and it would be much more difficult. "Thank you for reminding me, sir. I will be more cautious," Yi Futian said, nodding. He frowned slightly. This time, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty had clear murderous intent, so from now on, they might try to assassinate him more frequently. Since they had done it once, they wouldn't care about doing it again, even at the risk of offending the Divine Elephant clan. Yi Futian wondered if he should be proud or not. After all, this meant that the Heavenly Mandate dynasty took him so seriously that they took such a big risk to get rid of him. "Let's go back too," said a warrior of the celestial gate of vast heaven. "I still have something to do," Yi Futian said. He shook his head slightly. He turned his gaze and looked toward where people of Brahma's pure sky stood in the distance. Yi Futian took a step forward and walked towards the place where Xiantian Pavilion was. The Xiantian goddess looked at Yi Futian, who was walking towards her. A different look flashed in her eyes. Yi Futian is here to salute you, goddess. Yi Futian stopped in front of Xiantian goddess and said, "What else do you want to ask?" The Xiantian goddess said coldly, as if she was dissatisfied with Yi Futian because of the previous events. "I want to ask again if Jiyu is in Brahma's pure sky. Goddess, please don't conceal anything." Yi Futian bowed down and said sincerely. Jiyu appeared twice in his mind, and it should not have been an illusion, just because he missed her so much. Moreover, all that had just happened made him realize that the thing was not very easy. Why did Brahma's pure sky want to choose a spiritual partner for Qinhe? Qinhe, as the first goddess of Brahma's pure sky, had an extraordinary status. Why would they force her? From the perspective of Brahma's pure sky, they didn't seem to want to join hands with the heavenly mandate dynasty. Also, what the Empress of Brahma's pure sky just did could be considered as helping him. He still felt that all these things were related to Jiyu. The Xiantian goddess looked at Yi Futian. Her eyes looked as calm as before, and there was no change in her gaze after hearing Yi Futian's words. Yi Futian's eyes looked extremely deep. When he asked the question, he fixed his eyes on the Xiantian goddess, as if he wanted to capture something from her eyes, even if it was just a hint of emotional fluctuation. However, Xiantian goddess's eyes were so calm, revealing no change. It was as if she had just heard an unrelated name and some unrelated words. "What are you talking about?" Xiantian goddess said softly. Nobody would be suspicious of her indifferent tone. She still denied it. Yi Futian stared at her. Why didn't she have a look of suspicion? Xiantian goddess really knew nothing about it? He didn't believe it. "I boldly request to go to Brahma's pure sky to meet with Her Majesty," Yi Futian bowed and said. The Empress, undoubtedly, was the one who knew most about all these things. Last time, he didn't get any answers, but he still wanted to try it. "Her Majesty has no time to see you," Xiantian goddess said. "I don't mind what you have done today. Now go back." "I want to see Qinhe," Yi Futian said again. "She has returned to Brahma's pure sky," Xiantian goddess said and left directly, ignoring Yi Futian. She just walked into the void sky and left with other goddesses of the Brahma's pure sky, leaving Yi Futian there dazed. Qi Xiangang and Yaya came to Yi Futian's side. Qi Xiangang asked him, "What is on your mind?" "Master, I felt the presence of my wife twice during my cultivation, and both situations were related to Brahma's pure sky." Yi Futian looked at Qi Xiangang and said. A surprised look flashed across Qi Xuanggang's face. He had heard about this thing, and in Yi Futian's capacity, it was impossible for him to be wrong. Maybe she really was alive. "I want to go to Brahma's pure sky," Yi Futian said. "Then you should go." Qi Xiangang nodded and said. Since he had doubt, he should try hard to find the answer. Yi Futian nodded, and after bidding farewell to others, he walked away and headed in one direction. Some people came with him, some people left. Xia Qingyuan also followed him. Was Hua Ji really alive? At this moment, she had conflicting emotions, which made her somewhat hate herself. Why did she have inner conflicts, especially for her ruthless side? Brahma's pure sky was located to the north of the Brahma Sky City, and was above all of Brahma Sky City. Standing at the foot of Brahma's pure sky, Yi Futian looked up at the mountain and the endless stairs in front of him. Clouds and mist were flying over his head, and in the clouds, a celestial city could be faintly seen. His body flashed, and he walked upward. Many warriors gazed at him along the way, until Yi Futian came to the sky outside of the gate. A goddess stopped him and released warning might, glaring at him indifferently. She did not speak, and did not need to say anything. Who didn't know that this was the heavenly gate of Brahma's pure sky? "Yi Futian is here requesting to see Her Majesty." Yi Futian looked up toward the heavenly gate and shouted loudly. He knew that, even though he was outside the Brahma's pure sky, the Empress of Brahma's pure sky claimed to be able to perceive everything in the 3,000 realms. Although she was not there, her mind could directly reach the sky above Xiantian Pavilion, so his voice must have been heard by the Empress of Brahma's pure sky. The goddess outside the heavenly gate showed surprise when hearing Yi Futian's name. Not long ago, Qin He had returned to Brahma's pure sky, and they heard something from her. Now, what was Yi Futian's purpose of coming to Brahma's pure sky? There was no response from Brahma's pure sky, and Yi Futian's voice seemed to be entering the land of nothingness. Yi Futian requests to see Her Majesty, Yi Futian continued. However, there was still no sound. He said this again and again, making the goddess outside Heavenly Gate frown. A lady stepped forward and said coldly, Yi Futian, enough. Yi Futian's shouting had disturbed some people's cultivation. Some Renhuang figures' wills had swept down. Apparently, they had also heard of Yi Futian's voice. Yi Futian had perceived them too, but he still did not leave and continued shouting loudly. He wanted an answer. He needed to know whether Jiyu was here or not. However, it seemed that everyone would just ignore him. In the land of Brahma's pure sky full of clouds and mist, in front of a Fey palace, a person, who looked very thin, was kneeling on a futon. At this time, the sound of footsteps came. Qin He looked up and saw a figure in front of her. Qin He is here to meet Her Majesty. Qin He bowed her head and said. She wondered why the Empress wanted to see her. But no matter what punishment it was, she wouldn't care. The Empress stood there quietly, looking at Qin He. She was silent for a moment and then said, From now on, you can cultivate with me. Qin He paused a second and looked up at the Empress, but the Empress had turned around and entered the Fey Palace, shrouded by mist. Qin He did not show much joy, and she was just a little confused. What was all of this about? The Empress of Brahma's pure sky stepped into the Fey Palace. There was another figure here in this fairyland, sitting quietly. She was also extremely beautiful, stunning like an immortal, and she seemed to be in the dormant state of cultivation. The Empress of Brahma's pure sky looked at her and said, You disappointed me. If I knew, I would have chosen her, not you. The figure didn't seem to hear her, and sat there quietly. She even ignored the Empress of the Brahma's pure sky when she talked to her. There would be no second person in Brahma's pure sky who dared to do so. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Still, Yi Futian didn't get to see the Empress. He was ignored at the Heavenly Gate of Brahma's pure sky, and from time to time, some cultivators sent might to him as a sign of warning. Still, Yi Futian didn't get to see the Empress. He was ignored at the Heavenly Gate of Brahma's pure sky, and from time to time, some cultivators sent might to him as a sign of warning. After a long while, he stopped shouting, but just looked up at the Heavenly Gate. Now, no matter how outstanding his talent was, he was just a cultivator of St. Plain, and was not even qualified to talk to the Lady of Brahma's pure sky. Could he do anything to them even though they refused his request? There was nothing he could do. He could just stand outside the gate of Brahma's pure sky and watch. He didn't know what the cultivators of Brahma's pure sky would think of him. Is Jiyu in the Brahma's pure sky or not? Yi Futian murmured to himself. It was like an enigma. If Jiyu had been here, she would have found him by herself, unless she was in trouble. So she showed up in his mind twice. Was she trying to tell him that she was still alive? Maybe he guessed it. However, if Jiyu was really in Brahma's pure sky, who was imprisoning her? Did the Lady of Brahma's pure sky do this? But why did Her Majesty trap Jiyu? He had asked people of Brahma's pure sky several times, including the Saintess, the Goddess, and the Empress, and whenever he asked, the answer given to him was the same. No one acknowledged the existence of Jiyu. At that time, Jiyu summoned a wisp of the Empress thought, but she was very weak at that time, and not in the Holy Plane. If the Empress paid attention to her for this reason, and brought her spiritual soul to the Brahma's pure sky, she didn't have to let Jiyu stay with her. Even though Jiyu, as a cultivator, had potential, she couldn't be more promising than those goddesses in Brahma's pure sky. They even didn't care about sacrificing the goddess Qin He. So would they care about Jiyu? He didn't understand and couldn't figure it out. Yi Futian looked up at the Heavenly Gate of Brahma's pure sky and said loudly, Your Majesty, please let me know if Jiyu is in Brahma's pure sky. I will come to visit again later if I have the chance. After these words, Yi Futian turned around and walked away. Seen from behind, he looked quite lonely. Even though he knew Jiyu might be in Brahma's pure sky and wanted to go inside and take a look, he could not do it. He didn't have this feeling of powerlessness, even when he confronted Yi Tianyu and other people. Xia Qingyuan stood behind Yi Futian and felt a little sad to see this lonesome figure walking ahead. However, Yi Futian couldn't do anything, not to mention herself. Even if her father Emperor Xia had come here in person, the Brahma's pure sky wouldn't change their attitude either. This was the disparity between different areas. Emperor Xia was an emperor of a realm, but in the Supreme Path realm, he was not that important. She turned her head and took a cold glance at Brahma's pure sky. Although she had some inner conflict, she felt sad when she saw Yi Futian like this. She also hoped that one day, Yi Futian would be able to forcibly enter the heavenly gate, and no one would dare to stop him at that time. Many warriors from Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and other forces turned around and also left with Yi Futian. They went away and gradually disappeared into the distance from the Brahma's pure sky. There were still many divine thoughts sweeping down from the Brahma's pure sky, and all of them were withdrawn at this time. Many people knew nothing about it, and only a few people faintly knew some inside information, but perhaps only Her Majesty knew most about the details. Yi Futian and his companions left Brahma Sky City. Besides them, other top forces from elsewhere had also gradually left. The storm had finally come to an end, but the final outcome was unexpected. Yi Futian fought with Yi Tianyu, but Qin He chose neither of them. In the end, this attempt to seek marriage was not successful, but the conflict between the Heavenly Mandate dynasty and Yi Futian was intensified, and the world witnessed the rise of another top figure. Yi Futian was another hero like Yi Tianyu and Gu Donglu, peerless and gallant. After this battle, people of Brahma Sky City regarded Yi Futian as a hero like Gu Donglu and Yi Tianyu, but unfortunately, Yi Futian was not of Nirvana Saint Plane in that battle. If he had been, people could tell from the battle between Yi Futian and Yi Tianyu which of them was stronger when Yi Futian had not used the bone of Divine Elephant Emperor of 10 Directions. In the Battle of Brahma Sky City, there was still some controversy since no one could say clearly how much enhancement the bone of Divine Elephant Emperor of 10 Directions had brought. Therefore, it could only be said that Yi Futian was also one of the top figures and stood alongside Yi Tianyu. However, there was still doubt as to who was the stronger one. After all, even when Yi Tianyu was injured in the battle, he still showed remarkable combat strength. Although Yi Futian went all out, he could not seriously hurt him, and it was only when his master joined forces with him that he gave Yi Tianyu a hard strike. Even so, their performance was still truly amazing. Gu Donglu and Yi Futian were brothers, and this generation of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven they represented had won over the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Plus they had Jiang Taichu, Hua Qingyan, and Yi Futian's brother Yu Sheng. Such a lineup was horrifying enough. In the future, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven would have another heyday. If so, would the Heavenly Mandate dynasty be more stressed? In addition to the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, Shangxia Divine Palace also regarded the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven as a serious threat, and would never let them rise to the top of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Especially now, the strongest descendant of the Violet Heavenly Palace, the ultimate form of Great Path Zhan Yuan, had been proven to be incapable of defeating Yi Futian and Gu Donglu, so they could not afford to gamble on the future. When the news began to spread in the Heavenly Mandate realm, people of top forces all had returned. In the South Vast Heaven, above the Celestial Gate, Yi Futian was focusing on cultivation. At this moment, there was a fairy light flowing around him. A celestial soul condensed and was formed, resonating with the sky and earth. With the fairy light cleansing his body repeatedly, the power of the celestial path seemed to be merging into him. At this time, in addition to the fairy light, a dazzling golden aura flew around Yi Futian's body, just like the light of Ren Huang. He stood up, waved his hand and blasted out his fist. Each of his punches trembled the distant void sky, and seemed to penetrate the space. Yi Futian repeated the movement again and again, and his body was coated with dazzling golden light. After a short while, he opened his eyes and murmured, "It's still wrong." After all, the cultivation of mystical ways could not be achieved overnight. At the highest level of celestial soul attraction, the celestial soul entered the cultivator's body. His physique would be strong as that of an immortal, and such a body was called the celestial form. Every move of the celestial form attack contained the might of immortal skills, which meant that each of his random attacks would incorporate the immortal spirit into it, and there was no need to deliberately control the immortal skills. It was the stage pursued by all warriors of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. In the heyday of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, the 12 immortals had all cultivated to such a level and owned forms of celestial paths. All of them were figures with outstanding talents in the cultivation of mystical ways. He was obviously still far behind, and had not been able to reach this level. At this moment, there seemed to be a strong life force coming out. Futian gave a different look since cultivators of the Celestial Gate generally did not create noise like this. He moved his gaze and looked toward one direction, where there were bright beams of imperial light rushing into the sky. Extremely beautiful. They made the wind and clouds above the sky roar and caused storms of the Great Path. The storms of Great Path contained glorious aura, and the might of Renhuang erupted from it. The might of Renhuang, Futian thought to himself and looked surprised. Then, as if he had thought of something, his eyes suddenly became bright. Futian walked into the void sky directly toward that direction, and seemed a little excited. And then he saw a figure rising up in the wind, shrouded with the aura of Renhuang, which made his figure even more magnificent. "Master!" Futian smiled and called. The person was Qi Xiangang. It was the first time he had seen someone enter the Renhuang level, and it was his master. When they fought to leave the Great Li dynasty, Qi Xiangang had already taken a half step into the Renhuang plane, and after that he rose again from the collapse. After he was deprived of cultivation, he jumped to the top of Nirvana plane, and was halfway toward Renhuang plane. After defeating the ninth servant, the city lord of the Crimson Dragon realm, he followed Futian into the heavenly mandate realm, and cultivated for more than 2 years. Today, Qi Shuangong's cultivation had finally reached this stage. Nothing dramatic happened. It was as if it was just a matter of course, and he entered the Renhuang realm. Qi Shuangong's body rose up and landed in the sky above the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. His body appeared in the center of the storm of Great Path. In the sky above the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, clouds were tumbling. Many people in Futian City had noticed and looked up in the direction of Celestial Gate, but they were not too surprised. Although there were not many Renhuang figures in the Celestial Gate, usually every few years, some people could set foot in the Renhuang plane, so people were not that surprised about it. But they didn't know who had entered the Renhuang plane this time. Many cultivators in Futian City smiled. First, there was Gu Donglu, and then Futian, and now another figure had entered the Renhuang plane. So many years after the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven experienced destruction, its fortune once again prospered, and it was likely to usher in a glorious era again. Many people in Celestial Gate also paid attention to Qi Shuangong's entry to Renhuang Plain. Many cultivators believed in fortune. After being silent for so long, they could also feel that the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven seemed to be surrounded by luck again. The sound of entering Renhuang Plain was far louder than entering Saint Plain. Although when entering the Renhuang Plain, there was no catastrophe as there was in the Saint Plain. Renhuang needed time to cast the imperial body and soul. The scene in the void sky was appalling. After a long while, the situation returned to calm, and a figure slowly descended from the sky and landed on the Celestial Gate. Futian and others ran to him. Futian took the first step and called, smiling, "Master." "Master." Mu Chunyang and Lu Chuan also smiled and said, when they cultivated in the Great Li dynasty, they had never expected that Master would break into the legendary plane in such a short period of time. Renhuang, in realms like Great Li, was equal to the Lord of a realm. Congratulations. Many warriors at Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven also congratulated Qi Xiangang. Thank you very much. Qi Xianyuan smiled and bowed his head, then looked at Futian and other disciples. Things always happen like this. When he cultivated in the Great Li, he did not have a very strong obsession with achieving anything. Even later, after he experienced great changes, like Futian's incident, Emperor Li's suspicion, and being deprived of cultivation, he still had nothing to ask for, and never thought about the later things. Not to mention entering the Runhuang Plain. However, excessive joy was of no need. Everything had its time, and even though he had not deliberately pursued it, now he had also set foot in the Runhuang Plain. It didn't mean anything. As Yi Futian's stage became broader, the road they chose was getting harder. He did not know what would happen in the future, and would not think about it. He would just wait and see. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. In front of a magnificent palace of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, there was a bright golden divine matrix. In front of a magnificent palace of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, there was a bright golden divine matrix. Over the sky dome, countless stars fell down. A map seemed to appear in the starry sky. There was a boundless area on the map, divided into 2 realms. Among these 2 realms, there were 10 locations that were the brightest and full of glares. Shimmering stars fell on that map, and below it, a figure sat in the matrix. Outside the field, there were several figures standing there, watching silently. At this time, the person in the matrix stared up at the sky, and in an instant, all the stars began to rotate, and countless stars continually flew in the vast land of 2 realms. Over the map, many marked coordinates flickered. They kept changing as time passed, just like the transition in history. There was a place where the starlight became extremely dim, as if it might become completely silent at any time. The scene made some people's eyes suddenly turn sharp, and a feeling of coldness flashed in their pupils. It seemed that the outside rumors were not true. Even though they had 2 extraordinary cultivators, nothing had changed. The starlight was still flowing, and they were waiting as if they were waiting for the dim starlight to disappear completely. However, after a long while, suddenly countless beams of starlight converged towards the same place, which had already been dim, and as time went on, the place became brighter and brighter until the light overwhelmed everything, and dazzling divine light erupted from it. It even dazzled many people's eyes. In addition, there were several other places where the light was dazzling, and some places where the starlight was dim. Suddenly, it seemed that they all became clear and distinct. How come? People outside frowned and murmured. The dazzling starlight gradually covered everything, as if it would engulf the entire map. Finally, a clear sound came out, and the vortex of stars shattered. Countless glimmering stars flew around, and the map disappeared. The person in the matrix watched the disappearance of everything and frowned. Everyone's heart was slightly stirred. After a moment of silence, he stood up and turned around, looking at the people next to him, and sighed in his heart. "How is it, sir?" a majestic figure asked with an imposing bearing. He was the imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. However, he called the man in the matrix Sir, which showed that the man's identity was also unusual. "Your Majesty has already seen it," said the figure. The imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, with a bit of indifference, said, "Sir, does the picture mean that the celestial gate of vast heaven would have great luck?" That person nodded slightly and sighed. "The celestial gate of vast heaven's fortune will greatly prosper, and even absorb the Heavenly Mandate's fortune, and outshine all other forces of the Heavenly Mandate realms." "How is this possible?" The imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty looked emotionless. Of course, he did not want to accept such a result. Not only him, but others beside him also whispered at each other. Recently, there were rumors in the outside world that the celestial gate of vast heaven's fortune was prospering. The celestial gate of vast heaven had Jiang Taichu and Hua Qingyan, and now Gu Donglu also came with Yi Futian. Besides, it was said recently that someone had just reached the Runhuang Plain. Although entering Runhuang Plain was not an important issue here, so many things that happened together started to get people's attention. Thus, the imperial lord paid a great price, and invited the person with transcendent status from outside to observe the luck of Heavenly Mandate realm. However, what the person saw was actually the prosperity of the celestial gate of vast heaven, which was the same as the rumor from the outside world. Cultivators absorb the fortune of the sky and the earth, and live with luck. Even though celestial gate of vast heaven has good fortune, we can still forcibly extinguish their qi and take away their luck, the Imperial Lord said. He suddenly resumed the domineering spirit. His voice was indifferent, and his tone was full of pride. He was the Imperial Lord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Although he believed that fortune was important, he didn't have blind faith in it. As the saying went, men could win over heaven. That was to say, human beings could alter their destinies, and naturally, fortune could also be changed. Otherwise, how could human beings seize the fortune of sky and earth? What do you think, sir? The Imperial Lord asked, his voice still very polite. Of course, the man nodded and said. The art of fortune-telling is only a way of prediction, and it is not absolutely accurate. Between the sky and the earth, there are people who go against heaven. Their fortune is unpredictable, and they can change their own future. Fortune is changeable, and prophecies are just prophecies. They do not represent what would happen in the future. The results may be different if you predict during different time periods. Thank you, sir, the Heavenly Mandate Imperial Lord said, and felt much relieved after hearing his words. And he made up his mind. In fact, he was very clear that although fortune could be changed, it was easy to adapt to the current trend and difficult to overcome the trend. Now the good fortune was on the other side, and if they wanted to change it, they had to go against the trend, and it was not easy to achieve. He would not be blindly confident about it. Of course, even though it was difficult, he would still make every effort to do it. The inheritance of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty passed from generation to generation, and they used to be the king of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty in the past. Now it was in the current Imperial Lord's hands, so he would definitely not let it end here. If Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven had its heyday, it would be the end of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Not only did he understand it, but the person who predicted the fortune was clear about it too. What he foretold was the luck of the whole realm, which required a lot of energy to predict. The trend of the whole realm would be stable and unshakable, and even though it was easy to change a small pattern of it, it was extremely difficult to change the situation of the whole realm. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty wanted to go against the trend, which was not an easy thing. However, this was not a thing he needed to think about, and the Heavenly Mandate dynasty would do it by himself. Sir, how about my child's life? The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty continued asking. Before the person did not tell him, the transcendent figure looked at him and asked, Do you really want to know the answer? The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty nodded, and said with a solemn look, My son Tianyu has been gifted since he was a child. He was born with supreme power. I believe his fortune will be strong, and even if not, he could still change his life. I can only say he lives in a wrong time. The person responded to him in these words, and then cupped his hands and said, Your Majesty, I should leave now. He turned around and walked away, disappearing in a moment, as if he had never been here. Living in the wrong time. The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty stood there, looking ahead. His eyes constantly changed, and he didn't look very well. His son Tianyu was a rare genius, a peerless figure, born to be supreme. He would take over his throne, and become the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty in the future. However, that person claimed that Tianyu was living in the wrong time. He couldn't help but think of Gu Donglu, Yi Futian, and all the rumors circulating today in the Heavenly Mandate realm. Everything seemed to match, but he didn't believe it. Even if Tianyu lived in the wrong time, he would change his destiny. Don't tell him about this, the Imperial Lord ordered. He was worried that this would affect Tianyu's state of mind and cultivation. But after he said it, his expression froze on his face. He turned around and saw a person standing there quietly. This area was the very core of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty that few people could enter. So he was not on guard and didn't spread his thought. Before, he just focused on the fortune teller and didn't pay attention to the outside. Tianyu suddenly showed up, and had heard what he said just now. Do you believe in fate, father? Tianyu asked the Imperial Lord. The Imperial Lord looked at Tianyu's sharp eyes. Tianyu continued, I don't believe in my fate. It can be controlled only by myself, not by others. Good. The Imperial Lord praised him. My son is a rare genius. Even if you are trapped by the fortune of your life, You can go against heaven and change it. Why fear it? When will you go back to Shangxiao Divine Palace? The Imperial Lord asked. What do you mean, Father? Etienne asked. You get ready and go back to cultivate in the Divine Palace. I hope you can set foot in the Runhuang Plain as soon as possible, the Imperial Lord said. Etienne paused a second and looked at his father in surprise, then nodded and said, Yes, Father. Go to cultivate, the Imperial Lord said calmly. Etienne requested to leave, and then left. Your Majesty? People around the Imperial Lord looked at him and whispered. Their eyes flashed with wonder, and they had all faintly guessed something. Send someone to the Violet Heavenly Palace to inform him of what happened here today. Let him convene people of the Violet Heavenly Palace to discuss. The Imperial Lord looked forward and said, Besides, send some people to the Demon Realm, and meet the major demon clans, especially the Purple Gold Rat clan. Aye, Your Majesty, they nodded and answered. They had all understood the intention of the Imperial Lord. Also, don't forget to send people to other forces in the Heavenly Mandate Realm, the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty added. He then muttered, No one wants to see one force's fortune outshine everyone else. In the past, the reason that many major forces came to Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was that Gu Tianxing of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was too outstanding. Today, time had changed, and Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven had been silent for many years. No one expected that they could restore its vitality and once again own the good fortune. He didn't believe it. No matter how good their fortune was, just wipe it out. Then how could they talk about luck? He didn't intend to take action so fast, but now, he could only do it as soon as possible. The sooner the better. The threat should be stifled in the cradle, and he could not watch they grow stronger. It didn't take long for all the warriors from the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty to cross the space and head towards all parties of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. At the same time, Etienne and the people of Shangxiao Divine Palace launched the Super Space Matrix in the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. They walked across the void space and left the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. They would return to Shangxiao Divine Palace. The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty wanted to provoke a war and would not let Etienne stay here. After all, Etienne was only of the Saint Plane. Suddenly, the entire Heavenly Mandate Realm seemed to be shrouded in a cloud of darkness. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Warriors sent by the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty had gradually arrived and informed all the forces of the Heavenly Mandate Realm of what they'd seen about the fortune of Heavenly Mandate Realm. Many forces of the Heavenly Mandate Realm began to make plans, and some of them were about to take action. Warriors sent by the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty had gradually arrived and informed all the forces of the Heavenly Mandate Realm of what they'd seen about the fortune of Heavenly Mandate Realm. Many forces of the Heavenly Mandate Realm began to make plans, and some of them were about to take action. The balance of the Heavenly Mandate Realm had been maintained for many years, especially after the battle between the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. The balance had reached the ideal status. The two strongest forces, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, were both greatly weakened, and the world of human cultivators and the demon world also remained calm. This was a situation that all forces wanted to see. Therefore, it could be said that only the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty were the biggest losers of the battle. Because of this, a battle between peak forces was hard to break out when the strengths of all parties were balanced. Last time, when the two major forces, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Shangxiao Divine Palace, came to Haotian City, a war still did not break out. But now, the balance that had lasted for many years seemed to be disturbed. And it had to be disturbed. If no one took the initiative to break it, according to the astrological prediction, in the future, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven would seize the fortune of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, become the most prosperous force, and restore its glory in Gu Tianxing's era. Maybe they would even surpass it. Violet Heavenly Palace was the one that least wanted to see this situation, because it would be a disaster for them. Therefore, as soon as they received the message, the Violet Heavenly Palace immediately sent people to visit the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty to discuss the plans. After Brahma's pure sky got the news, they seemed very calm and didn't do anything. The same was true of the 10,000 Divine Mountain, perhaps because the Lord of the Jiang clan had made the commitment to them. In the demon world, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty would definitely not go visit the Divine Elephant clan and the Dragon God's clan because of Yi Futian and Yu Sheng. The Demon God Court was not very concerned either. However, the Purple Golden Rat clan and the Yingzhou Mountain were excited about this, especially the Purple Golden Rat clan, which always had ambitions and wanted to ruin Gu Donglu. But if Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven restored its power to that of Gu Tianxing's era again, Gu Donglu would stand at the peak level. At that time, if they wanted to lay a finger on Gu Donglu, it would be an extremely difficult thing, or even impossible. Now the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty seemed to be ready to take action. The Purple Golden Rat clan and Yingzhou Mountain both sent warriors to the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty to discuss plans. The frequent communication between the top forces of the human cultivation world and the supreme demon clans was not a usual thing, so it naturally attracted many people's attention. Soon the news could no longer be concealed, and it gradually spread in the Heavenly Mandate realm, and soon passed to Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. In an instant, the whole Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was shocked, and in Futian City, countless warriors felt a little uneasy. Many warriors gathered in front of the Celestial Gate and wanted to find out about it. If a war broke out, the consequences would be horrible. At this moment, below the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, countless warriors gathered. They looked towards the direction of Celestial Gate, and someone said, "I heard that inside the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, there were spatial wills of great path rushing straight into the sky, and the cross-realm supreme teleportation matrix was launched. They must have sent Yi Tianyu and other top young figures away, so they were already ready to take action." Indeed, after being silent for so many years, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven finally has Gu Donglu and Yi Futian, who have shown peerless talent. Obviously, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty begins to feel anxious. Although they have not yet reached the step of war, they have lost the patience to wait. Everyone had made their guess, and many people could see through the situation today. How should we Celestial Gate cope with this? Some people said, worrying about the Celestial Gate. Last time, those two major forces came here to suppress us, but Futian Celestial City was united as one and overcame it. Today it is the same. Why should we fear the war? Someone said with indignation. However, the people around him shook their heads and said, "This time is different. The Heavenly Mandate Dynasty wants to urge the entire Heavenly Mandate realm to be hostile to us Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. I wonder if there will be other forces involved. If so, it is meaningless even for Futian City to participate in the war." This level of battle still largely depended on the strength of top cultivators. It seems that, as we have guessed, fortune is on the side of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, and now the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty is frightened. Many people nodded. The Heavenly Mandate Dynasty would do so only because they were afraid. They encouraged other forces to join them, so that they could wipe out the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and exterminate the threat. Once the war started, any kind of result might happen. In the past, Gu Tianxing and Heavenly Mandate Dynasty were good examples. No one could guarantee that warriors of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty could safely retreat. Otherwise, they would not let Yi Tianyu immediately return to Shangxiao Divine Palace. Apparently, they were worried about Yi Tianyu's safety. Above the Celestial Gate, the misty pavilion halls were also shrouded by a faint depressive atmosphere. People of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven got the news earlier than the people of Futian City. At this time, in front of a palace hall of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, many warriors gathered. All of them were elders of the Celestial Gate with unusual temperaments, and they were here to discuss the issue. In front of the palace hall, two figures stood there. They were lords of the Jiang clan and Hua clan. "I assume you all have heard about the thing from outside. What do you think?" the head of the Jiang clan asked. He wanted to ask what people had in mind, and if they had any good ideas. Should we try to contact the Divine Elephant Clan and the Dragon God's Clan to let them join us? Someone suggested. These two forces of the demon world were somehow related to Futian. Two lords were silent and did not say anything, just watching these people. Today, countless cultivators were gathering in the Futian city outside the Celestial Gate. How about we? Another person said. Warriors expressed their thoughts, but two lords still looked nonchalant, as if they could frankly accept all this. At the beginning, when they took Gu Donglu back to Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, they had expected that today would come. Good. You are dismissed. At this moment, the Lord of Jiang Clan said. There was a strange look on everyone's face, but they still nodded and requested to leave. Soon, warriors of Celestial Gate all left, and only these two lords stayed. What do you think? The Lord of Jiang Clan asked the Lord of Hua Clan. The Lord of Hua Clan shook his head and said, in this situation, I am afraid that we should not start a war. Not to mention we may be defeated. Even if we can repel the enemies, how would other forces think of us? Gu Donglu and Futian have just begun to show their talents. Then, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty invited someone to tell the fortune of the Heavenly Mandate realm, which indicates that the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty indeed wants to kill the two of them first. I didn't expect it either. The Lord of Jiang Clan sighed in a low voice. He hadn't expected that the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty invited such a powerful figure to tell their destiny. In this way, the uproar would happen much earlier than planned, and many of their ideas would be disrupted. Is the Matrix ready? The Lord of the Hua Clan asked. The Lord of the Jiang Clan nodded his head and said, in the past, Tianqing fought to the death and didn't reveal the truth until the last moment of his life. Now so many years have passed and finally, this matrix can be used again. I don't know why, but I feel sad. If possible, I don't want to restart it in my whole life. As he talked, he looked toward the Lord of Hua Clan and said, thank you for all the years of suffering. At that time, the three of us swore an oath to bring the Celestial Gate back to the top of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Now the opportunity has come. The Lord of Hua Clan smiled and said, it seemed that his state of mind was affected by the crisis. However, on the contrary, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was eager to destroy them, and the rumors they spread were enough to prove that the future of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was very bright. If so, let us continue to live up to the promises of the past. The Lord of the Jiang Clan said to Lord of the Hua Clan with a smile. Sure. The Lord of Hua Clan nodded and said. They smiled at each other as if, at this moment, they had returned to the time when they were both young. Let's go. They walked forward at the same time, and directly crossed the void sky. With just one step, they came to the top of the Celestial Gate stairs, and looked down toward the numerous warriors in the lower sky. Many people were stunned when they saw these two people's appearance. All warriors took a bow and said, we are here to salute you. Go back and focus on your cultivation, the Lord of Jiang Clan said loudly, and his voice spread through the void sky. Everyone could hear it clearly. Go back. The warriors all froze. They did not understand. What did the Lord mean? At this time, the sound of footsteps came. Warriors of several top forces came, and the warriors who took the lead were from Wang Yambing's family. The Lord of the Wang clan was at the forefront, and he looked up and said to people of the Celestial Gate, if we deploy all the powers of the Futian city, we could afford the war. And gamble on people's lives and Futian city's fortune? The Lord of Hua Clan looked at the people and asked, remember, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven is the Celestial Gate of Futian city. Even if the Celestial Gate disappears, as long as Futian city still exists, and there are cultivators left in the Futian city, the Celestial Gate will last forever. Next, everyone immediately go back and focus on cultivation. The Lord of Hua Clan announced loudly. People were puzzled but still left. Just go. The Lord of the Jiang Clan waved his hand and said. People hesitated and began to discuss, and some people started to leave. Gradually, more and more people began to leave. Warriors of the Wang clan walked up into the void sky and said, I still have some cultivation skills. Before, I always wanted to compete with you, but now it seems there is no need. Hearing what he said, the two lords also smiled. This was how warriors of the Celestial Gate should do, in the Celestial Gate style. I should go too. I have saved a bottle of old wine for this moment. Let's have a drink, the Lord of Hua clan said with a smile. The other two people nodded, then turned around, and went back to the Celestial Gate. In the distance, Yi Futian and Qi Xiangang stood there quietly, looking at these figures with composure. Yi Futian also applauded for them secretly. They were figures with real composure and confidence. Master! Yi Futian looked at Master Qi Xiangang beside him and called. Master had been able to roughly foretell one's fate, and now he had entered the Renhuang Plain. Was he also able to see through all this? Just let it be. Qi Xiangang patted Yi Futian's shoulder and said. Yi Futian and Gu Donglu were both people with great fortune. Although the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven would go into crisis, it would also be reborn. Yi Futian watched Master walking away speechless. The war was coming, but they were all so calm. He shook his head, and also walked away. However, a few days later, Futian City would be shrouded in an atmosphere of horror. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1490, The Battle of Celestial Gate. Chapter 1490, The Battle of Celestial Gate in Futian City. Countless people looked up at the sky, and everyone could feel an oppressive atmosphere in the city. Above the sky dome, there seemed to be an invisible storm. Under the pressure of the might, the bright sunshine disappeared in an instant. The air became lifeless and depressing, making people feel unsettled and hard to live. It's coming, everyone murmured, their hearts trembling. They all knew what it meant. For a few days, there had been all kinds of rumors in the Heavenly Mandate realm, especially in Futian City. It was said that the Heavenly Mandate dynasty invited an unusual figure to foretell the fortune of Heavenly Mandate realm. And the figure said luck was on the side of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. For this, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty had begun to contact top forces of the Heavenly Mandate realm to besiege the Celestial Gate again. This time, nobody knew how many forces would come. The might was getting stronger and stronger, but the people of Futian City still had not seen anyone coming. Finally, above the sky, some godlike figures came into view, who exerted pressure and headed towards the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. Although battles in the world of human cultivators usually covered a wide range of space, fighters still followed the rules and hardly killed innocent people. Although Futian City was under the jurisdiction of the Celestial Gate, there was no direct relationship between them. People of Futian City didn't belong to the Celestial Gate, so the Heavenly Mandate dynasty could not kill civilians of the city. This was against the path of heaven and would damage their fortune, becoming an excuse to let other forces undermine them. As for the hostility between them and Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, it was the grudge between two sects, the dispute between two forces, and should be a normal thing. During the chaotic period, such a battle happened frequently, but during peaceful times like today, this kind of top-level battle was not common. In addition to these godlike figures, from another direction of Futian City, countless divine thunder dropped down from the sky, annihilating the void sky. The sky was shrouded by clouds of thunder. It was as if the doomsdays had come. The Violet Heavenly Palace is here, countless people whispered, hearts tremoring. However, it was also within expectation. The Violet Heavenly Palace was the strongest ally of the Shangxiao Divine Palace, and they were direct participants of the past incident. Because of this grudge, Violet Heavenly Palace would not let go of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, and would try their best to ruin it. So, after they knew about the prophecy, the Violet Heavenly Palace also made up their mind to immediately destroy the Celestial Gate. Warriors of these top forces were all extremely decisive figures. Once they made up their minds, they would take action immediately, and could even launch an immense war. People of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven all had perceived the intimidating and horrifying life force. At this moment, everyone over the Celestial Gate looked solemn. At the front of Celestial Gate, two figures stood side by side. They were the two lords of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, Jiang Qingzi, the lord of the Jiang clan, and Hua Jiangshan, the lord of the Hua clan, were standing there, their clothes fluttering in the wind, and their bodies shrouded by the celestial light. Numerous people of the celestial gate looked toward these two figures, as if they were real immortals, detached from the world. How long haven't we fought side by side? Jiang Qingzi asked, looking up at the sky. It's been too long, I can't remember it, Hua Jiangshan replied. Indeed, it had been too long. This feeling is quite good. Jiang Qingzi smiled at Hua Jiangshan and said, Get away. I have no feelings for you, Hua Jiangshan replied. Jiang Qingzi laughed. At this time, the celestial aura shrouded the space. He just wanted to fly straight up to the sky and fight since he hadn't experienced this feeling for a long time. It was as if suddenly he was young again. Countless people of the celestial gate of vast heaven heard of the conversation between these two lords and showed strange looks. Usually, these two lords were solemn people and rarely made jokes. Except during formal meetings, people rarely heard them conversing. People didn't expect their relationship to be so good. Many people's hearts felt warm. These two major clans of the celestial gate, in fact, sometimes also had disputes. Now seeing their lords having conversations like this, warriors all felt a bit ashamed of themselves. There was a reason that the celestial gate of vast heaven could pass down in this way. Otherwise, the interior would collapse even before the outside forces invaded. At this moment, an extremely sharp life force came. A figure with a hard body, like a divine weapon, stepped forward. He looked forward as if nothing was in his eyes. He was a peerless weapon. He was the lord of the Wang clan. Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan turned their eyes to him, and the lord of the Wang clan said in a low voice, Sorry, did I bother you? Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan were speechless. Other people were also speechless. However, there was no time to joke around at this moment. Terrifying life force fell from the sky. A group of godlike figures appeared in the distance and released the same life force from their bodies. All of them wore imperial robes and were full of pride. The person who took the lead was the imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, and he came here to lead the fight in person. If he wanted to destroy the celestial gate of vast heaven, how could he fail? In the hand of the imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, there was a gigantic pen, which was the authentic Qianxiu brush, a horrifying Renhuang-level weapon of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty that could extinguish everything with one stroke. Boom! From the other direction, the sound of dull thunder roared. The divine thunder descended from the sky and shrouded the entire celestial gate. A group of people appeared over the sky, and the warrior who took the lead held in his hand a supreme Renhuang-level instrument, Violet Heavenly Divine Hammer. The divine hammer was huge. Endless divine thunder dripped down from it, like apocalyptic light. In addition, from another direction, a gust of demonic qi came, and the demon warriors of Yingzhou Mountain had reached. This time, so many great forces joined hands to enter Celestial Gate, with the purpose of destroying the Celestial Gate of vast heaven. Yingzhou Mountain was not involved in this turmoil. Although they had a grudge with Yi Futian, they didn't have much hatred for him, and did not need to participate in this. However, the Purple Golden Rat clan had participated, so Yingzhou Mountain did not want to miss this opportunity either. Nowadays, Yingzhou Mountain was relatively weak among all the top powers. If the Purple Golden Rat clan prospered with this opportunity, Yingzhou Mountain would be put in an embarrassing situation. Therefore, they must join this battle and fight for their fortune. In addition to these forces that were ready to participate, many top figures had also reached the Haotian city. Most of them were just going to watch the battle. After all, this battle was directly related to the life and death of a top power, and this supreme-level war would directly affect the political geography of the Heavenly Mandate realm in the future. Finally, warriors of 10,000 Divine Mountain and Brahma's Pure Sky decided not to participate, but would just look on. They were a bit shocked to see such a lineup. From the situation, they could tell it would be hard for the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven to survive this time. Would the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven be destroyed before it was restored to its heyday? The warriors of the Divine Elephant clan had also arrived. Above the sky, the Divine Elephant Emperor came in person and looked down at the sky below. Although Yi Futian had inherited from the divine elephant clan, they couldn't directly participate in this great turmoil. However, if Yi Futian was in danger, they would help him. Moreover, in this battle, Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven should also have some cards. Destructive might befell. In the direction of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty above the sky, the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty raised a brush and made a stroke toward the void sky. The sky dome was split into two, and a beam of killing light came down from the sky dome and chopped toward the place where Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was. Just one stroke seemed to be able to destroy the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. He had no reservations and just launched the strongest attack. The destructive force, even the aftereffect of it, was hard for any Saint Plain warriors to endure. Since the war had started, they would show no mercy and just want to uproot the Celestial Gate. Boom! At this moment, a boundless and dazzling matrix was lit up in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. The vast and boundless Celestial Gate burst out with infinite celestial light. On the top of Celestial Gate, a complete pattern of the divine matrix appeared and rotated above Celestial Gate. The Juetian diagram. The scene made all the warriors stunned. This was the Juetian matrix transformed from the Juetian diagram, which shrouded the boundless area of Celestial Gate. The fortune of the Celestial Gate and the might of the Great Path were soon swallowed into the matrix, and even the aura of the Great Path between the sky and earth fell down wildly, and everything was swallowed by the Juetian diagram. Did Gu Tianxing leave this? Many people showed surprise. This was Gu Tianxing's ability, which did not belong to Jiang Qingzi or Hua Qingshan. Could it also be what Gu Tianxing had arranged? Boom! A frightful sound came, and in Haotian City, countless people's hearts beat fast, and blood was roaring in their veins. Thunder rolled in the sky, and the thunderstorms of catastrophe appeared in the sky, especially the sky above Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. It was completely covered by the lightning matrix of Doomsday. In the other direction, a divine spear thrust out from Ingzhou Mountain, and with one strike it opened the sky. Numerous beams of spear light penetrated the void sky and thrust down. Under the ground in front of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, the sound of rumbling came out, and cracks constantly appeared on the ground. It was as if there were many figures moving underground, and there was a faint divine light shining from it. Warriors of the Purple Golden Rat Clan, people thought. These rat warriors walked through the ground and wanted to go directly to the interior of the Celestial Gate to destroy it. Warriors of the four forces took action at the same time, and all of a sudden, the entire Celestial Gate was completely covered. The Juetian diagram swallowed the fortune of the Great Path and spun around the Celestial Gate. Everyone seemed to be standing over the Juetian diagram, while Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan stood at the center of the matrix. Boom! Countless fairy phantoms surround their whole bodies. Jiang Qingzi rose against the trend in the Juetian diagram, raised his hand, and launched an attack towards the sky. A loud roaring sound came between the sky and earth, and countless palm prints covered the sky and blasted toward warriors of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. Hua Jiangshan also started to move. He stepped into the void, and the life force from his body kept rising and becoming stronger. The Lord of the Wang clan also took action. The celestial light was shining around him. He drew palm prints with both hands and let out a shout. In the matrix, hundreds of millions of divine swords appeared and thrust at the sky dome. At the same time, some divine swords flew to the front of the Celestial Gate, and then went down. They smashed madly into the ground, and thrust towards the warriors of the Purple Golden Rat Clan underground. All of a sudden, a super battle broke out, and the people who took part in were all top figures. It was difficult for others to participate in a battle this level. Even Runhuang level figures could only assist, and for Saint Plain warriors, they were not qualified to stand aside, let alone participate. If they got involved in it, they would likely to be wiped out instantly. Launch the matrix, Jiang Qingzi, shrouded by celestial light, said toward the lower sky. Many people showed surprise. Launch the matrix? Wasn't the Juetian matrix the matrix he had launched? Where was the other matrix that Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven wanted to open? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Above the celestial gate of vast heaven, the whole gate was trembling. Above the celestial gate of vast heaven, the whole gate was trembling. Extremely dazzling fairy light erupted, and in an instant countless dazzling rays of light shot in all directions. Even top figure's eyes were temporarily blinded by the light. What is that? Many people murmured while covering their eyes. When they narrowed their eyes into slits and tried to look at the scene again, they saw a three-dimensional star atlas with countless light beams of the Great Path shooting out of it. Besides, this three-dimensional star atlas was being integrated into the Juetian matrix. Gu Donglu was sitting in the matrix and was also at the center of the star atlas. There was a gust of strong life force coming from his body, and a phantom of a peerless figure could be faintly seen. It seemed to be Gu Tianxing. Around Gu Dongluo's body, many illusory figures showed up, all surrounded by the flowing fairy light. Not only that, but many Renhuang-level warriors came to form a circle around him, and madly infused their energy into Gu Dongluo's body, and launched the Star Atlas. What is this? Those top figures thought, puzzled. They found that countless warriors of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven were stepping into the Juetian matrix, and standing at the eyes of the matrix. Each eye of the matrix was corresponding to one position in the Star Atlas. Boom! The world was roaring, and the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was collapsing and shattering. All the force of the Celestial Gate seemed to be swallowed up by that terrifying matrix, and the Star Atlas became bigger and bigger, radiating toward all the 9 skies. Boom, boom, boom. The great path in the sky seemed to be resonating with it. Countless beams of divine light shot down, and shone with the divine light emitting from the matrix. They continued moving into the distance, and extended in infinitely distant places. Some warriors looked up at the sky and saw beams of light directly come out of the sky, and all of a sudden, the light beams seemed to go out of sight. All of Futian City was shaking, and infinite life forces of Great Path rushed into the matrix and merged with it. Above the sky dome, a figure was standing there. It was as if she stood alone outside the sky, but at this time, beams of light shot from the side, and in an instant, the light extended to the infinite distance and shot out of the sky dome. Her perception reached into the distance, stretching out madly, and she found that her perception could not catch up with the movement of the light. The path diagram. She looked down at the matrix in the lower sky and murmured. The Star Atlas that merged with the Juetian matrix launched a new matrix. It was rumored that when Gu Tianxing traveled outside, he obtained a treasure, which had the coordinate positions of the 3,000 realms of the Great Path. Some people even said that if the secret of the treasure was unraveled, it could lead to the Great Path of all 3,000 realms in any place. However, because no one had seen it, and Gu Tianxing had never used it in front of people, the gossip only lasted for a while, and later, the world forgot it. Now it seemed that the rumor many years ago was true. The Imperial Lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace blanched a little, and they also felt the terrifying power of the heavenly might. People of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven wanted to escape. Let's do it! The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty shouted. His finger pointed toward the sky, and the Qianxiu brush dropped down from his hand. Numerous killing light beams shrouded the endless area and chopped down. The Qianxiu brush came from the sky and thrust toward the super matrix. Boom! The thunder of doomsdays engulfed the sky, and the catastrophic thunder covered tens of thousands of miles of Futian City. In the sky above the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, the thunder of catastrophe was even more terrifying. The Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace held the violet divine hammer in the sky and smashed down the hammer. In just one moment, an extremely stout purple divine thunder penetrated the void sky and blasted down into the lower sky. Everything below it would be wiped out in the heavenly thunder. Everyone in Futian City felt a chill go down their spine. The attack was too horrible, and if it had targeted Futian City, numerous people would have disappeared from the world in a flash. Those who were standing a little close could not dare to watch the battle anymore, and all fled. This level of war could no longer be watched from a short distance. Even the aftermath of the fight might endanger their lives. "Let's open a way," someone said in the endless divine light. A few figures rose from the Juetian matrix. They were Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan, one of whom headed toward the warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace, and the other went to the warriors of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. The lord of the Wang family headed toward the warriors of Yingzhou Mountain. 3 beams of divine light pierced through the sky, making it difficult for people to open their eyes. Yi Futian was also in the matrix. When he looked up at these 3 figures, he felt stirred. The celestial gate of vast heaven was worthy of the word celestial in its name. Warriors were all staring at the upper sky. They saw Jiang Qingzi pass through the destructive thunderstorm, Hua Jiangshan's finger thrust toward the Qinqiu brush, and the divine weapon transformed from the Lord of Wang family colliding with the long spear of Yingzhou Mountain. 3 glowing beams ran through the sky, and the people in the matrix just saw the thunderbolt matrix of doomsdays above the sky dome be destroyed. All the warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace had to scatter. Even the Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace spat out a mouthful of blood. In the void sky, a beam of light shot toward the void sky, and drops of blood flew down. The situation in the other 2 directions was the same. The arrays formed by warriors of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Yingzhou Mountain were directly separated, and many of the warriors were even injured, which showed how strong the attack was. The celestial gate will last forever. At this moment, a voice came from the matrix in the lower sky, and the sound made the void air tremble. The moment these words were said, another beam of celestial light rose straight into the sky toward those warriors. "The celestial gate will last forever," another voice came. "The celestial gate will last forever." The voices came one after another, and the bright rays of divine light shot out. A terrifying scene appeared. Many Renhuang figures transformed into intimidating light beams of the Great Path, attacking warriors of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace. So many gallant heroes of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, all turned into immortal phantoms at this time, and pierced through the void sky. Warriors from the Shangxiao Divine Palace and the Violet Heavenly Palace were all hit hard. Many Renhuang figures let out low moans, and even the Imperial Lord and the Violet Heavenly Palace Lord were injured in the first round of attacks. Warriors of the Celestial Gate punched out their strongest blows with the power of the Matrix, which penetrated the void sky, and then left. But some of them were also seriously injured before leaving. Roar! At this moment, a giant figure of the purple golden rat king appeared over the crowd. It opened its big mouth, blocked the road, and swallowed a Renhuang warrior. Gu Donglu looked up at the sky and glanced at the purple golden rat king. The next moment, countless beams of spatial light shot directly onto the sky dome, and all the rays in the matrix thrust out at the same instant. PPPFFFFFF. A series of sound came out, and many Renhuang figures' bodies in the upper sky were stabbed. Their bodies exploded, and a lot of blood dripped down from the sky and disappeared in the light. What is that? Many people were shocked. Roars that trembled the space came from the sky dome, and people saw that the purple gold rat king was stabbed by countless beams of divine light. Many bloody cuts appeared on his huge body. He shrank his body and ran away instantly. He moved out of the way. Sacred light shrouded the celestial gate of vast heaven, and the matrix rotated and headed toward the sky dome, along with countless beams of divine light. A group of figures showed up from all directions and headed straight into the clouds. At the same time, the entire matrix emitted countless beams of terrifying light, shooting toward every direction of the sky dome. "The day when the celestial gate returns will be the day of your annihilation," voices said at the same time, extremely solemn. The divine light in the surroundings seemed to open the way, and so did all the warriors who fought. As for the center of the large matrix at this moment, countless warriors of the celestial gate of vast heaven directly merged into the divine light and disappeared between the sky and the earth in a flash. No one stopped them, and they would head toward the most distant place without interruption. "Stop them!" An angry shout came from the imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. He was shocked to find that all the warriors of the celestial gate of vast heaven were shrouded in the matrix. At this moment, they turned into countless beams of divine light and shot towards the sky. They wanted to take away the whole celestial gate. Many warriors launched attacks, but the terrifying divine light next to them directly blocked their attacks, protecting the infinite divine light in the large matrix and left. They could have gone beforehand, but they did not. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace wanted to exterminate the celestial gate. How could they just let them go without paying the price? Although this might lead to injuries and even death, and some people might lose their chances to leave the Heavenly Mandate realm because the Great Path of Space was attacked, they still did so with no hesitation. The path diagram will send them away from the Heavenly Mandate realm. Many people murmured, trembling inside. The whole celestial gate would move. The day when the celestial gate returned, they would be annihilated. Those unstopped divine light beams rushed directly into the endless void sky and disappeared. It was as if they opened a road of great path and took away all the warriors of the celestial gate of vast heaven. The imperial lord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty looked up at the void sky, but his majestic face looked extremely embarrassed at this moment. He remembered the time when the figure foretold the fortune of the Heavenly Mandate realm. The fortune of the celestial gate of vast heaven was almost destroyed. It was extremely dim, but it still existed. Wasn't the prophecy what was happening at the moment? Everyone from celestial gate of vast heaven left, and the celestial gate collapsed. Their fortune was almost extinguished, but the people of the celestial gate all left. People in Futian city also looked up at the sky. They saw countless beams of divine light shine directly through the sky, and an infinite bright light appeared on the sky dome. All of them disappeared with the divine light. Could this matrix take them directly out of the Heavenly Mandate realm? That bright path matrix might make it possible. This matrix is so powerful. But why didn't they use it in Gu Tianxing's battle? People thought shocked. During the battle of that year, the technique of the matrix was not mature. Gu Tianxing had been studying this matrix at that time, but he passed away before the matrix succeeded, leaving it to his two friends. Can those who were blocked by the attack also leave the Heavenly Mandate realm? Someone whispered. No. The imperial lord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty yelled after hearing the whisper. His face turned pale, and he immediately turned around and walked away. He ordered, "Let's go back." The lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace also realized it. The three big figures who attacked previously rushed out and were obstructed by terrifying forces. They left after forcibly breaking their arrays. Those three figures were most likely unable to leave the Heavenly Mandate realm, or had they never thought of leaving. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. What's going on? People asked each other. They didn't get it when seeing the warriors depart from the sky. What's going on? People asked each other. They didn't get it when seeing the warriors depart from the sky. All the warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty and the Shangxiao Divine Palace were evacuated in a very short time. It was as if they were worried about something. The two clan lords and the Lord of Wang family didn't leave, someone said. They are still in the Heavenly Mandate realm. Before, the three top figures launched an attack with the power of the Matrix and directly separated the enemy's arrays. The power that erupted at that moment even wounded the Imperial Lord and the Lord of Violet Heavenly Mandate, but at the same time, they must have also suffered the same. The extremely strong force of the collision caused the road of Great Path to the Sky Dome to be incomplete. Only the Celestial Gate army, that was protected in the middle, was able to enter the complete road. The Celestial Gate warriors who fought in the beginning were trying to escort them. As for other warriors, they might have been hindered, but they intentionally did so, most likely because they did not want to leave. The Celestial Gate of vast heaven had been passed down for many years. Today, it collapsed under the siege of many top forces, as if it had to repeat the past. How could the Celestial Gate warriors reconcile themselves? In the past, they had paid a terrible price for it, and the Gu clan was totally destroyed. Now would it happen again? Couldn't the celestial gate of vast heaven obtain good fortune and be at the top of the heavenly mandate realm? They must let them pay a painful price, even if the cost was the breakdown of the celestial gate. This was the battle they had chosen. After hearing the voice, people's hearts trembled slightly. Didn't the three warriors leave the heavenly mandate realm? If so, where would they go? Now that celestial gate was no longer here, they would have nothing to worry about. It was not hard to speculate where they were going. The heavenly mandate dynasty, the Shangxiao divine palace, and the other two clans from the demon realm wanted to destroy the celestial gate and let the celestial gate turn into ruins. If there had not been the matrix, nobody of the celestial gate of vast heaven could survive, since they wanted to completely get rid of the celestial gate. In this case, what would Jiang Qingzi do when they left? The heavenly mandate dynasty and the violet heavenly palace. These two forces were closer to the celestial gate of vast heaven than to the demon realm. If these two forces can't catch up with them, I am afraid they will have big trouble, someone said, watching the figures disappear from the sky dome above. Because the top forces came with the purpose to destroy the celestial gate, they had deployed their best warriors, including the Imperial Lord and the Palace Lord themselves, to prevent anyone from escaping. Currently, the defensive power of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Heavenly Temple of Violet needed to be weakened greatly. The Purple Golden Rat Emperor's face was gloomy, although his bearing was outstanding. Due to the natural ugly appearance of the Purple Golden Rat, he looked even more eerie. His body was stained with a lot of blood, however he was greatly traumatized. "Let's return to the demon realm first," he said. Immediately, warriors of the Purple Golden Rat clan also evacuated and returned to the demon world, just in case anything happened. Warriors of Yingzhou Mountain also started to evacuate. Soon the four allied forces had all left. Many warriors of other forces were still here, lost in thought. The battle of the top powers involved too many issues, and if they were not careful, they would face backlash. This was also the reason why wars rarely broke out between top forces. Many people secretly left through the sky. They could feel that the super matrix of Celestial Gate had evacuated all the warriors of Celestial Gate. Perhaps they could cross the realm borders, and the path matrix was used to record the coordinates. Combined with the large matrix, the treasure obtained by Gu Tianxing at that time could shuttle between different realms. Soon, the warriors from all sides of the Heavenly Mandate realm left, and only the people of Haotian City were still here. They looked at the place where the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was located. Now the gate had collapsed, and all the celestial aura disappeared. All the fortune and energy had been integrated into the large matrix and launched it, consuming all the power of the Celestial Gate. The Celestial Gate, it's gone, people sighed. At this time, the area around the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven seemed extraordinarily quiet, and countless people looked at the front silently. Here was the sacred land of Haotian City, the symbol of it. Today it was a ruin. In the distance, there were still figures flashing. All of them were people of Haotian City. Seeing the sight in front of them, everyone felt the desolation, as well as a tinge of sadness. Didn't the fortune teller of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty say the Celestial Gate would be full of good luck? Someone said with a sigh, looking up at the sky. Since they had good luck, why did it end up like this? Was the fortune of the Celestial Gate really disrupted by the war? As long as the people of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven are still alive, the Celestial Gate will still exist, someone said loudly in a somber voice. Previously, including the two clan lords and many Renhuang figures, many top figures broke into the opponent's arrays and escorted the people of the Celestial Gate to leave. What these people did was to save their hope, and they didn't mind staying here. As long as hope existed, the Celestial Gate existed, and fortune would be on their side. Indeed, Gu Donglu obtained the power between the sky and the earth, gathered all the fortunes of the Origin Mountains, and received Gu Tianxing's teachings. He alone owned a great amount of fortune of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Now he left, but by the time he returned, he would revive the Celestial Gate, and call on all the Celestial Gate warriors to return. The Celestial Gate lasts forever. One after another these voices came, filled with endless hope. That was the hope for the future. They remembered what the Celestial Gate warriors had said before departure. In the future, the return of the Celestial Gate would mean the elimination of all those powers. Today, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace participated in the battle to destroy the Celestial Gate, and in the future, they would have a price to pay. Fortune was not easy to be extinguished. Those forces couldn't take it away. After this battle, people in Futian City also seemed to have undergone some changes in their states of mind. Their willpower seemed to become firmer and more unified. They finally understood why their two lords refused to participate in the Battle of Futian City. It turned out that they had long thought about everything and did not want the people of Futian City to be involved. At this time, in the Heavenly Mandate realm, a bright beam of divine light appeared, but the light became dimmer and dimmer until it dissipated. A figure showed up. The figure had outstanding temperament and was covered with a snow-white robe. His long hair was partly white. Although he was middle-aged, he seemed to have experienced vicissitudes. At this time, there was a bloodstain at the corner of his mouth. The white robe on his body was also torn and stained with blood. The figure was the lord of Hua clan, Hua Jiangshan, one of the two clan lords of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. He glanced down at his robe and whispered, "It's dirty again." Then, he took off his shirt and took out another white robe from the storage ring. Hua Jiangshan was a neat freak. He put on the new robe and dusted it several times, and only then was satisfied. He also wiped off the bloodstain from his mouth, and then looked into the distance. There seemed to be dazzling celestial light in his eyes, which penetrated the infinite space. He stepped forward, and suddenly countless white shadows appeared over the sky dome. They were many broken shadows, like countless phantoms of Hua Jiangshan. The scene was shocking. A bright beam of white celestial light appeared over the sky dome and ran across the void sky at an incredibly fast speed. Virum! The white celestial light came from the sky dome, which was so fast that nobody could see his figure inside. A Saint Plain warrior was cultivating in a mountain in the south of Heavenly Mandate realm. At this moment, he suddenly woke up and opened his eyes. "Who's there?" he shouted. A beam of white fairy light passed directly above his head. He could see nothing but a beam of white light, which frightened him. How could he be so fast? He was of Nirvana Saint Plain, but he didn't even see clearly before the figure disappeared. In the Thunder Punishment City of the Heavenly Mandate realm, there were warriors guarding every entrance of the city. At this time, a beam of white light landed outside the city. "Who's there?" Several soldiers shouted and rose up trying to stop it. Hiss! The white light faded away, and the two soldiers who tried to block him froze in the air, and then their bodies fell into the lower air. Their eyes widened, as if they didn't believe they were dying. They were warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace, guarding the Thunder Punishment City. Who dared to kill them like this? What's that? In the City of Thunder and Punishment, countless people looked up at the sky and murmured with confusion. A beam of white light just flew over their heads and headed directly toward one direction. It was heading toward the direction of the Violet Heavenly Palace. On the top of Violet Heavenly Palace, several old men were cultivating. At this moment, they suddenly opened their eyes, as if they had sensed a very dangerous life force. One of them shouted, "What brings you here, sir?" They rose and looked towards the distance. Their voices spread across the Violet Heavenly Palace, shaking every Heavenly Palace cultivator's heart. The white light was still shooting straight towards the Violet Heavenly Palace. A Renhuang-level warrior was moving forward. The thunder light engulfed the sky with astonishing force. He stepped out and launched a destructive punch of the great path toward the white light. The sky and the earth made loud roars. Boom! The white light and the purple light brutally collided. It was so fast that people's eyes couldn't even follow it. Finally, the white light stopped and turned into a hazy figure. The hair of the figure in white robe fluttered in the wind, and the fairy light flew around his body. He pointed a finger forward. The divine light annihilated the sky. The Renhuang figure let out a scream, and his body gradually disintegrated. SPHHHDT. Blood splashed out, and the Renhuang figure's body was shattered directly. The figure in the white robe continued moving forward, and his white clothes were stained by blood. Boom! A gust of horrifying life force shrouded the entire violet heavenly palace, and some figures broke into the air and came. Warriors of the violet heavenly palace trembled. Some people were coming to attack the heavenly palace. Hua Jiangshan, an old man said with a trembling voice. The palace lord had led people to besiege the celestial gate of vast heaven. But why would Hua Jiangshan, one of the two clan lords of celestial gate of vast heaven, show up here? Boom! The horrible might shrouded everyone. Hua Jiangshan took a step out and pointed his finger forward. In a short time, the celestial light of the great path directly penetrated many warriors' bodies. Many people groaned, vomited blood, and showed extreme fear. How could this be? Hua Jiangshan continued moving forward and laid down a finger again. He killed a person in front of him, and the blood splashed on his face. But at this time, he seemed to have no feeling, and his eyes were cold, with no trace of emotion. Today, his hands were doomed to be dirty. Some people said that a celestial cultivator could turn into a demon with just one thought. He had been cultivating in celestial laws for many years, but today, he had become a demon. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Launch the Matrix. Launch the Matrix. A loud yell came from the violet heavenly palace. The warriors who stayed in the heavenly palace gathered together around the palace. In a flash, the destructive might appeared over the sky dome and swept across the vast sky. The terrifying divine thunder over the sky dome covered the entire Thunder Punishment City. People in Thunder Punishment City were shocked, and their hearts kept trembling. At this moment, all of them looked up at the sky and stared in the direction of the heavenly palace. What happened there? They wondered. A while ago, a dazzling beam of white light ran across the sky. Was it because of the white light? Someone broke into the violet heavenly palace. The palace lord led people to Futian City today and attacked the celestial gate of vast heaven, someone murmured. His face suddenly turned pale, as if he had just realized something. The battle against a top force could backfire on them. Had it backfired on them? However, this time all the top forces had joined hand. How could they let warriors of the celestial gate of vast heaven escape? Even though they escaped, why did the top forces not chase after them and let them attack the violet heavenly palace? They were puzzled and didn't know what happened. If the imperial lord of the heavenly mandate dynasty and the lord of the violet heavenly palace had known that there was such a super matrix in the celestial gate of vast heaven, they must have acted more cautiously. But there was no if in reality. At this moment, Thunder Punishment City had truly become the land of thunder punishment, and heaven seemed to want to release the power of thunder punishment and wipe out everything. The warriors of Violet Heavenly Palace ran madly toward the void sky and entered the super matrix of thunder punishment. It was the matrix of world destruction, and was guarded and controlled by several senior Renhuang figures of the Violet Heaven Palace. Although the palace lord took the best warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace to besiege the celestial gate of vast heaven, it was impossible for Violet Heavenly Palace to leave no warriors behind. In fact, many Renhuang figures were still here. Hua Jiangshan glanced up at this catastrophic super matrix, which was the guarding matrix of Violet Heavenly Palace. He had directly broken into the palace before they had time to launch the guarding matrix to defend the sect. But after they launched it at this moment, the power was still appalling. The celestial light was shining brightly into the sky. Numerous fairy shadows appeared over Hua Jiangshan's body and headed towards the sky dome. Numerous fairy shadows constantly descended below the matrix. It was as if they wanted to support this super matrix with flesh and blood. Boom! The fairy shadows merged and involved Hua Jiangshan's body in a supreme immortal shadow. The shadow kept expanding, and he took a step upward. A celestial ladder created by mystical ways was released. He seemed to be stepping on the celestial ladder. With every step he took out, his life force became more powerful, and his figure became stronger. It was as if nothing could stop him. The great path over the sky roared, and Hua Jiangshan's body turned into a supreme celestial form. He pointed a finger toward the void sky and penetrated the thunder, annihilating the great path, and fell directly over the terrifying matrix of doomsday. In just one moment, above the sky dome, countless beams of celestial light like lightning appeared in the large matrix covering all the skies. Countless wills dropped from the sky above the matrix, which resonated with the two forces below. A rumbling sound came out, and the matrix was trembling, and many cracks appeared on it. Boom! With a loud noise, countless bolts of thunder and lightning exploded. At this moment, the sky seemed to fall, and the doomsday was coming. The violet heavenly palace was split into many parts, and countless buildings collapsed. In Thunder Punishment City, numerous people let out yells of despair, and were destroyed in the aftermath of the matrix. Nobody attacked them deliberately, but the thunderous matrix was so horrible that the forces could not be controlled when the matrix collapsed, causing many people to die. Figures of the violet heavenly palace were shaken in the sky. Blood oozed out from their mouths, and their faces turned pale. They launched attacks with all of their strengths. The appalling Renhuang might overwhelmed the sky, and the Renhuang figures were all staring at Hua Jiangshan. They must guard the violet heavenly palace. Infinite thunder and lightning penetrated Hua Jiangshan's body, but he still stood there, stepping forward in the void sky, and making all warriors' hearts tremble. Many broken images appeared, and at this time, Hua Jiangshan turned into the ultimate celestial form. Plork, plork, plork. One after another, many Renhuang figures were eliminated. When Hua Jiangshan stopped, his finger was pointing at the center of a senior warrior's eyebrows. Blood splashed on him, but Hua Jiangshan looked quite calm. It was as if he was completely undisturbed. Dead, all dead. Elder, master. There were many voices coming from everywhere in the space. People of the violet heavenly palace looked up at the sky, all in deep despair. Hua Jiangshan, the lord of Hua clan, one of the two clan lords of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, naturally stood on the top of the heavenly mandate realm. Except for those few giant figures, almost nobody could fight with him. The Renhuang warriors who cultivated in the violet heavenly palace were all peerless figures with fame. But at this moment, they all died at the hands of Hua Jiangshan. How sad. This battle would greatly hurt the vitality of the violet heavenly palace. And it was not over. Hua Jiangshan glanced down. At this moment, the sky above violet heavenly palace became extremely silent, and only the cold wind was whistling. Lord of Hua clan, aren't you going to let the young warriors go? A voice said. Above the silent violet heavenly palace, a figure walked out. He was the supreme form of violet heavenly palace, Zhan Yuan. He walked out and looked at Hua Jiangshan. Today, in the heavenly palace, Hua Jiangshan had gone on a killing spree. The violet heavenly palace had never suffered such a heavy loss. Hua Jiangshan raised a hand and grabbed at the air. Suddenly, a big invisible hand gripped Zhan Yuan and raised him in the air. Zhan Yuan stared at Hua Jiangshan. You don't need to look at me like that. You know better than anyone what the violet heavenly palace came to the celestial gate of vast heaven today for. Hua Jiangshan said calmly. People of the violet heavenly palace looked pale. Of course they knew why they had come. In the past, all the people of the Gu clan were exterminated. This time, all the top forces joined hands to go to the celestial gate, because they wanted to repeat the past, and let the celestial gate of vast heaven become history, and disappear from the heavenly mandate realm. However, now Hua Jiangshan was here. Hua Jiangshan's white clothes were stained with blood. Hua Jiangshan looked at Zhan Yuan's face, and at this moment, he did not see fear from Zhan Yuan's face, but Zhan Yuan just looked at him indifferently. This made Hua Jiangshan smile. He said, after all, the supreme form of the violet heavenly palace is not a despicable person. Today, I am supposed to kill everyone in the violet heavenly palace. But if I do this, the violet heavenly palace will not be able to witness the future. So today, I will keep you alive to let you one day see who will stand at the top of the heavenly mandate realm. After these words, he let go of Zhan Yuan. Even though Zhan Yuan was the supreme form of violet heavenly palace, he still let him go. As he had said, today, the violet heavenly palace came to exterminate everyone in the celestial gate. Now he had started his killing spree like a demon, and he had nothing to worry about. But he still didn't kill Zhang Yuan, because he wanted to let the Violet Heavenly Palace witness the return of the Celestial Gate. As for Zhang Yuan, the supreme form of Great Path, there were Gu Donglu and Yi Futian in the Celestial Gate, so Zhang Yuan would not be a threat to them. Virum. He took a step forward, reaching the top of the Violet Heavenly Palace, and then stomped down. All of a sudden, above Thunder Punishment City, the towering castle of the Violet Heavenly Palace was shaking violently. Many cracks appeared, and it began to collapse. Countless giant rocks rolled down, and the Heavenly Palace was reduced to ruins. Today, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven disappeared, but the Violet Heavenly Palace should also be wiped out in the same way. After doing all this, Hua Jiangshan flashed away and walked into the void sky. The Lord of Violet Heavenly Palace took away their best figures, so although this battle would greatly weaken the Violet Heavenly Palace, it would not hurt their foundation. Those who went to the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven were the strongest figures. But even so, from now on, the Violet Heavenly Palace would be restless because of it. A super battle also broke out in the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, but the foundation of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was deeper, and many allied imperial forces surrounded it along with countless warriors. The power of the Matrix in the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was also very terrifying. Jiang Qingzi had his killing spree there, and killed a lot of warriors and then left. He couldn't completely break the defense of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, but the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty had suffered a significant loss. He left just because he didn't want to give them a chance to fight back. If he waited until the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty returned, it would be impossible for him to escape. The Lord of the Wang clan was not as strong as Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan, and he was not so lucky either. After he forcibly broke into the arrays, his path of teleportation was blocked. After teleporting for a short distance, unfortunately, he was caught by the thought of the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, who rushed back home at full speed. Warriors of their level could easily cover thousands of miles with his thought, which was a terrifying power. At this moment, in a place of the Heavenly Mandate realm, a figure turned into a divine weapon and quickly flew forward. However, a person behind him kept chasing him. It was the Imperial Lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. Other warriors had received his order and were running back to the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty at full speed. Although he was worried, as long as these warriors all went back, it didn't matter even if he was absent for a while. There was killing intent in the eyes of the Imperial Lord of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. Both people's speeds were extremely fast, and the Lord of the Wang family was completely transformed into a real weapon of the gods and shuttled between the sky and the earth. "Do you think you can escape?" the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty shouted. He thrust out a palm from a distance, and the great path between the sky and earth roared and swept across the distant void sky. However, this palm slapped over the divine weapon and made the speed of the Lord of Wang clan even faster. The Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate looked sullen, but at this moment, the Lord of Jiang clan felt a sense of crisis. He frowned, and suddenly, the ground was split into half directly, and a horrifying demon aura swept across the sky. Soon, a horrifying purple golden rat descended and devoured the great path between the sky and earth, and was even about to swallow him as well. The Lord of the Wang family immediately stopped and threw out a divine weapon. A terrifying dark crack appeared in the void sky, followed by a flash of blood. The Lord of the Wang family had to stop, but his body was dripping with blood. One of his arms was bitten off, and the blood was flowing down madly. Boom! A violent attack hit behind him at the same time, making him vomit blood. There was no way to go. All of a sudden, warriors of both forces arrived. "I feel pity for you, having joined the Celestial Gate and seeking your death," the Imperial Lord of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty said coldly. The Lord of Wang clan could have just been an outsider. "Seeking my death?" The Lord of Wang family looked up at the sky and suddenly laughed. He suddenly felt relieved. For many years, he had regarded the return to Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven as the biggest obsession. Now he could let it go. "I, Wang Yu, deserve to be a member of the celestial gate of vast heaven. The Wang family can live up to the glory of the celestial gate. He said this loudly, roaring to the sky. The sky shook, and countless divine weapons descended from the sky. The divine light of great path penetrated his body, and the weapons dissolved. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. The heavenly mandate realm world had been calm for many years, since the battle between Gu Tianxing of the celestial gate of vast heaven and the old and new imperial lords of the heavenly mandate dynasty. The heavenly mandate realm world had been calm for many years, since the battle between Gu Tianxing of the celestial gate of vast heaven and the old and new imperial lords of the heavenly mandate dynasty. But now, another war broke out and shocked the heavenly mandate realm. This battle involved the 5 supreme forces and made countless people in the heavenly mandate realm feel unsettled. In a brief period of time, every detail of this war swept across the entire heavenly mandate realm, including the demon world. It had become a real sensation. The scale of the war was the largest in the heavenly mandate realm since Gu Tianxing's period, and the influence was also the strongest. In this battle, the celestial gate of vast heaven was destroyed. The celestial gate launched a super matrix and moved all the warriors of the celestial gate away. But some warriors who guarded them did not leave, and even the top 3 figures of celestial gate were left. Jiang Qingzi of the Jiang clan went to the heavenly mandate dynasty, and many people were severely injured or killed by him. But what was even worse was the violet heavenly palace. Hua Jiangshan, the lord of Hua clan, went astray and became a demon. His white clothes were stained with the blood of many Renhuang figures of the violet heavenly palace. It was said that Zhan Yuan and other people's lives were controlled by Hua Jiangshan, and with one thought, he could have exterminated all the warriors of the violet heavenly palace. However, Hua Jiangshan did not do so, which made many people in the heavenly mandate realm think that Hua Jiangshan, who went to the violet heavenly palace, was a kind person. Most people would have chosen to kill them if they had been in his situation. However, the celestial gate of vast heaven was not so lucky. Wang Yu, the lord of the Wang family, wanted to bring his family back into celestial gate of vast heaven, but failed. However, he still went to the celestial gate of vast heaven when the celestial gate was in danger. Wang Yu, during a tragic battle, was disarmed but had severely injured the king of the golden rats. He soon passed away, but he had lived up to the glory of the celestial gate. It was as if he had never left. Although he had some flaws in the past, this tragic battle still showed the loyalty and valor of this top Renhuang figure. He indeed lived up to the glory of the celestial gate, and deserved to be a cultivator of the celestial gate. A super battle ended. After that, the top forces such as the heavenly mandate dynasty and the violet divine palace crazily searched for the Renhuang figures of the celestial gate of vast heaven, who had not left, and found that many of them had been killed. However, after that, they also found it out that Hua Jiangshan and Jiang Qingzi also killed many of their Renhuang figures. These 2 people still hadn't left the heavenly mandate realm, which made the heavenly mandate dynasty and the violet heavenly palace restless. Besides, it would be challenging to besiege and kill these 2 lords. As long as they acted secretly, the heavenly mandate dynasty and the Shangxiao divine palace could hardly kill them. The imperial lord and the palace lord also had concerns. They would no longer dare not leave alone to assassinate them, unless they had already been found. Everyone understood that this would be a long-term war, and the heavenly mandate realm would not be peaceful. As for the vast majority of people of the celestial gate of vast heaven, it seemed that they had really been sent away by that super matrix, and were no longer in the heavenly mandate realm. It was rumored that the heavenly mandate dynasty and the violet heavenly palace had already begun to send people to other realms to search for those people's information, and they seemed to try to use this to threaten Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan, who were hidden in the dark. Everything that was happening in the heavenly mandate realm confirmed the prophecy of the demon realm, that the heavenly mandate realm would change. Today it had changed. The celestial gate disappeared, and the violet heavenly palace was rebuilt. Was this the beginning of the change? Each of the many things that happened in the heavenly mandate realm recently seemed to touch people's hearts. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. The whole heavenly mandate realm was still shrouded in the shadow of that battle. At this time, there were many traces of the great path on the ground in a place of the heavenly mandate realm. Many people came here to see the remnant wills. At this moment, 2 rays of celestial light came down. The crowd looked up and immediately fell silent. Everyone stopped moving and looked at these 2 figures that showed up, Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan. They stood in the void sky and perceived the remaining wills in this space. They could hardly feel it, and there were only some traces on the ground that were caused by the aftermath of the battle. Here was the place where Wang Yubing was disarmed. Wang Yu died here. They walked down and came to a place. Over the ground, there was a trace of white light, which was a fragment of a broken sword. The sword fragment still contained very strong sword wills, and no one dared to approach it. Jiang Qingzi walked there, took the fragments, held it tightly in one hand, and looked forward. Jiang Qingzi, the lord of Jiang clan of the celestial gate of vast heaven. Hua Tianshan, the lord of Hua clan of the celestial gate of vast heaven. Both of them spoke at the same time in a somber voice. They announced loudly, "Today, the Wang clan is granted to enter the celestial gate of vast heaven and become a part of the celestial gate." After these words, both of them turned into 2 beams of celestial light and disappeared, as if they had never been here. However, above the sky dome, the echo lingered for a long time. The Wang clan was granted to enter the celestial gate, and all the disciples of the Wang clan would become members of the celestial gate. People were in shock for a long time and felt their blood boiling. Wang Yu lived up to the glory of the celestial gate, and the celestial gate of vast heaven would not disappoint him. Today, Wang Yu's wish of a lifetime was fulfilled. However, the day when the celestial gate returned, what would the scene be like? No one knew. The storm of the heavenly mandate realm was rising, and who knew about the future? The thing that happened in the heavenly mandate realm, after a while, even spread to other realms. When the super matrix of celestial gate of vast heaven was open, people of the celestial gate of vast heaven were sent to many different realms. In the higher heavens realm, the most sacred place of cultivation was the Shangxiao Divine Palace. It was very solemn. In the Shangxiao Divine Palace, over a palace hall, someone was looking into the distance. The person was wearing a gorgeous golden suit, and his eyes were tinged with golden divine light. He was the crown prince of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, Yi Tianyu. The news of the Heavenly Mandate realm had reached the higher heavens realm, so he had also received the news during his cultivation in the Divine Palace. In the beginning, when his father asked him to leave, he had already known that the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty would lay a hand on the celestial gate of vast heaven. Otherwise, father would not let him go immediately. At that time, he had an inexplicable feeling. Of course, he hoped that the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty would revive and destroy the celestial gate. But at the same time, he did not want Gu Donglu and Yi Futian to fall so early. These 2 opponents on his way of cultivation motivated him to keep moving forward and never relax. In the Heavenly Mandate realm, both of them would become gallant figures of this era. However, in the end, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty failed. The celestial gate of vast heaven opened a super matrix and sent their warriors away. It was said that they were sent to many different realms. Today, where were Yi Futian and Gu Donglu? At this moment, the sound of footsteps came from behind Yi Tianyu. Someone said to him in a low voice, "What are you thinking about?" After she said it, the person came to Yi Tianyu's side and looked into the distance with him. Her voice was so beautiful that everyone would be curious about her appearance when hearing her voice. Her face was also extremely gorgeous and would not disappoint anyone. "Nothing," Yi Tianyu said and smiled at her. This lady was also a core disciple of Shangxiao Divine Palace. She was extremely talented and was also a princess of a top force in the higher heavens realm. She had heard that Yi Tianyu encountered some setbacks in the Heavenly Mandate realm, and even his marriage proposal was refused. "You are thinking about your family thing, right?" I have heard a little bit, the woman smiled and said. The storm in the heavenly mandate realm suddenly rises up. Maybe all these 9 realms would be affected by it. We must work harder. Yes, Etienne said and nodded. The 9 realms had been calm for many years, but commotion could rise again at any time. The heavenly mandate realms was a good example. Even though he was a disciple of Shangxiao Divine Palace, a peerless and talented figure, in reality, his current plane was still not enough compared with other warriors of top forces in the 9 realms. There was an area in the higher heavens realm called Taishan region, and the main city of Taishan region was Taishan City. The most prestigious restaurant in the city was named after Taishan City, which was called Taishan Restaurant. This restaurant had received a lot of big figures. The restaurant was very large and magnificent, just like a royal palace comprised of many towering buildings with extremely luxurious embellishments. There were many special seats set in the lofty buildings and in the garden outside. At this time, a fragrance of the wine came from the restaurant garden. The scent was so alluring, as if one would be charmed just by taking a sniff of it. The Taishan restaurant always served the best wine, and all wine and dishes were all very expensive. Ordinary people never dared to enter. In such an expensive restaurant, music was indispensable. There was a pavilion in the garden. Peach trees around the pavilion were blooming, and leaves were slowly falling down, covering the area. Someone was playing zither in the garden. The scenery was beautiful, and so was the zither. The zither music was in harmony with the scene, adding a serene mood to the restaurant. Some guests were drinking and looking towards the pavilion. In front of an ancient zither, a figure in white clothes was sitting there, with long black hair loosely falling around his shoulders. His face was flawlessly handsome, and made people want to praise his unparalleled elegance. He was indeed so in such an atmosphere. Mr. Shen's accomplishment in music is indeed marvelous. I wonder how powerful it will be when used with the music spell. Some guests in the restaurant discussed with a smile. I heard that not long ago, some guests had a dispute here, and Mr. Shen soothed their emotions with the music of zither, and easily solved the dispute. I don't know who his master was, but his master must be an unusual person, someone said softly. All the laws in the world were interlinked, and since he could master the skill of playing zither at such a high level, he must be an extraordinary person. Not to mention that Taishan restaurant invited him. It is said that Mr. Shen cultivates in zither sword, and could use the music of zither to release superb power of the sword. Right? If there is a chance, I want to see it. When everyone was talking, the music of zither stopped slowly. Someone sitting near the window looked toward the musician in the pavilion and said, "If Mr. Shen is interested, would you like to become my zither teacher?" Many people followed the voice and looked up. The person who spoke was a lady with a flawless body and a glamorous face. Nobody could move their eyes from her, but she, as an empress-level figure, had an intimidating might in her body. The music master looked up toward her, rose and smiled. "Thank you for your appreciation, Your Majesty, but I don't want to leave yet." The empress looked at him with a smile, and then her body flashed away. Suddenly, several warriors also rose into the air at the same time. A sedan chair appeared in the void sky. Her delicate feet stepped into the void sky, and she entered the sedan chair. She took a look at the young man and left. The young man silently put away the zither, then rose up and left. He was Futian, who had changed his appearance. He came to the higher heavens realm, from the heavenly mandate realm. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.